Welcome back to the Jacked Racing YouTube channel, and welcome to a kind of different video on this channel. This isn't something I would normally post on here. I usually focus on putting this together and racing it, but today I'm going to be talking about something a little more personal to myself. I'm going to talk about what it's been like racing with Crohn's disease. If you remember back a couple of months ago, I kind of had to sideline the whole racing thing because I started having some pretty serious health issues. I spent some time in the hospital and then about another 2 or 3 months at home recovering. It ended up being Crohn's disease, which is a form of IBD, which is inflammatory bowel disease. The other one you might hear of is called ulcerative colitis. We thought I had that for a while, but I guess the doctor thinks it's Crohn's. It looks like ulcerative colitis. Anyways, it wasn't fun, and it kind of really put a huge damper on my life. I couldn't do anything. I missed a bunch of work, which means not a lot of money for racing. I lost a ton of weight, which means not a lot of strength and endurance for racing. And just, it was a whole new way to adapt to living because I couldn't quite live the way I used to. Like I said, Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis are both in the IBD family, which means inflammatory bowel disease. It is different from IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. There is a big difference between the two. I don't know a whole lot about IBS because I don't have it, but IBD is at the moment incurable, which is super unfortunate. So at the moment I'm stuck with this for life, which is, it's a hard pill to swallow hearing you have a disease that lasts your whole life. And it's basically just about managing symptoms. It doesn't mean I'm gonna be like totally screwed and have my life cut short. It doesn't mean that. It just means it's gonna be a little more challenging in some ways, which, you know what, it's okay. Worse things could happen. I'll get through it one way or the other, right? We just figure it out. So basically, it's just like it sounds. Inflammation in the bowel, stomach, everything else. It's your body basically just kind of attacks itself, and it's kind of crazy. You can feel all the swelling. Causes a lot of stomach aches. It causes obviously some very unpleasant bathroom situations, upstairs and downstairs. Sometimes when I had it real bad, it was doing both. It's a nightmare. Imagine the worst stomach bug you ever had, and then make it last a couple of months. That's basically what happened. So it's not a fun disease. If you know anyone that has it, is struggling with it, they'll tell you it is awful. Wouldn't wish it on anyone, but you know what? Everyone's got something, and this just happens to be my thing. So we just figure out how to get through it. What does it mean for me today? Basically, there's days where I don't feel good. Like straight up, I do not feel good. My stomach's not happy. I'm not eating a lot. I'm tired. And with that comes not wanting to come out here and work on the car, not wanting to go run to the store to buy parts, maybe not wanting to go to a practice night or something. I have had to miss a couple of races since I got back because of this. A couple of weeks ago we were going to race at New Smyrna and I just wasn't feeling super hot, so we didn't go. I mean, it is what it is, right? Health has to come first. So what does it mean for me at the track? I park near the bathrooms. That's definitely one thing it means. Again, it's just I'm tired. I haven't had as much time to work on the car during the week. And it's still a new thing. I'm getting used to it. It's new. We're working with some different medications to try and get this more under control so I can go back to living the way I kind of used to. Part of that new medication means overcoming a fear that's way bigger than this race car could ever produce. I have to inject myself with a medication by needle, and needles are like my biggest thing. I can't do needles, and now I have to learn how to do it on my own. I've done about 3 or 4 so far, and it is way scarier than anything that's ever happened in one of these race cars or school buses or anything I'm crazy enough to get behind the wheel of. The medications I've started that I have to inject into myself basically act to reduce the immune system's response to kind of prevent that inflammation from happening. It does make me a bit immune compromised, so if you're ever sick at the racetrack and I don't talk to you, that's why, because I don't want to get sick, because I'll get sick way easier now, and I already think I got sick pretty often, so not gonna take any chances there. Luckily this is a sport where it's not like football where we're all standing on top of each other, breathing on top of each other. Once we're in there, we're by ourselves, so not a huge concern to me. It all happens outdoors. Everything's pretty okay in that scenario, but it's just, I have to think differently about things sometimes now. Diet-wise, there's some things I can't really eat anymore. It makes it a little hard to go to some of the tracks. I'd love to just sit there and eat a big old plate of redneck nachos with the pork and the cheese and everything, but that's not a good idea when you have a stomach disease at the racetrack, you know? During the race, it doesn't really affect me at all, which is good. That's huge. I didn't want this disease to be able to, you know, affect how I race the car, and it doesn't. So that's really good. It's more so just the time getting there, putting the car together. That's the stuff that kind of gets a little bit affected by it. But hopefully this is short-term stuff. Hopefully, you know, seeing it through with the doctors will help me get progressed a little farther in treatment, and everything will just kind of get a little bit easier for me. One big point I definitely want to bring up is that, I mean, I didn't think a whole lot about it when I was, you know, before I got diagnosed with this, but now it's something you absolutely have to keep in mind, is not every disability is visible. This is an invisible disability that I struggle with a lot more than I probably let people know, but you look at someone walking down the street that might look perfectly fine, you never know what they got going on. So maybe be a little less quick to judge some people when they say they don't feel good and don't want to do something. They probably have a pretty good reason for that, and they may just not want to talk about it. So just keep in mind, not every disability is visible, and people struggle with things that you can't see, only they can feel it. So just be good to people, you know. That's why aren't we all just good to people? If anyone out there is watching this that may have some sort of IBD or any other kind of invisible disability that kind of messes with them doing the things they love, my advice would just be stick it through and never give up. You know, I don't have it quite as bad as some people have it even, and I can't imagine what that feels like, but I didn't let it stop me from doing what I want to do. Occasionally it does put things on hold for a little bit, but it's never going to stop me from doing this. Like, as long as I can keep my health under control, I'll keep working towards keeping my health under control so I can do these types of things that I love. So, you know, don't let it get the best of you. It took me a while to come to terms with everything. I ended up starting on an anti-anxiety medication, something I never really had interest in doing, but you know, sometimes when you hit that point where you're so down, you're like, I'll try anything at this point. They've helped a lot. That's definitely been a big help for me. Stress can trigger problems with this disease, so learning how to manage stress on top of learning how to manage all the other symptoms has been huge for me. It's going to be a never-ending battle. Obviously, life is always going to throw stressors at you. You just have to learn how to manage them. So I'm here doing my best. I don't think we're going to be able to race this weekend. I'm having some problems with this disease that are kind of keeping me, you know, homebound for a little while. We have a couple of big races coming up the rest of the year, though. We got the Governor's Cup in a couple weeks at New Smyrna, with also the Bomber All-Star race that I've been invited to compete in. So really looking forward to that. I'm going to focus on getting my health back on track. Then we're going to get the car's health back on track, because it's about as down as I am right now. It's having electrical problems. I can't start it. So once I get some of my energy and strength back, I'm going to be climbing in there and doing some work. I'll take you along for the ride as always. After that, we got a couple more races at Auburndale, where we were just at a couple weeks ago and had a blast there. So we're going to go back. They're having a big charity race weekend, and I think the first week of December they're having another race for us. So we're going to be back. We got 2 doubleheader weekends coming up in the next couple of months. I'm super excited about it. Once January rolls around, we're going to take some time and kind of, you know, go through the car a little bit, find some more of those gremlins, do a little more setup work, just kind of get everything where we want to be for next year, which hopefully I won't be missing as many races of because of this, now that we have a diagnosis and medications that will hopefully help prevent something like that. And we can start planning our next season, which is super exciting. I can't believe we've already been at this for almost a year now. It's crazy. It's been a blast. This car has been a huge motivator to keep me going. I'm very thankful to have it, thankful for all the people at the tracks that have checked in on me, helped keep me going. It really means a lot to me. So thank you, everyone. Thanks to this awesome sport that keeps me and a lot of other people going. I mean, it's probably kept you going in some way too. So thank you for watching. I know this was a little bit different. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate you. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.